Okay, so in your notes, you wrote various things. For example, you should have been dealing with the idea of levels of organizations. For example, you have lines, right? And if the lines come together, they can form what? Say it. I want you to review what you wrote down. And you already should have this written down on your paper. If you didn't already write it once, write it again, but it should be there. What do you have? That's right. Lines can become letters, right? Just these cross pieces, another one going across there. You can make an A out of lines. Now, something new is happening at that level of the letters that it becomes a symbol. That just lines aren't symbols, but something new is happening there. Now you can put the letters together and make words, and words represent things, right? Now, what is it called when you put words together? You know this. What is it? Sentences. That's right. Now, a sentence can convey an idea. A word is just a symbol representing something, but a sentence like the dog was brown, that conveys meaning. Okay, so now something is new. Something new is happening at that level. And if you get sentences together, you know it. What is it? Now, this one I don't think you wrote down on the paper yet, but I bet you know what it is. Say it out loud. Say it right now. I dare you. That's right, paragraphs. You can have paragraphs, and a paragraph will develop an idea. And now there's different ways you could go from here. You get paragraphs together. It might be a chapter or an essay, or and you get the paragraphs together. It might be a chapter in a book, and chapters become the book, or a book, there's a library. You have this structured organization where something new is happening at each level. Now that is the concept of levels of organization, all right? So here's the thing about life and non-living and living things. Non-living things are made of, living things, living organisms, we're made of matter. And you might hear somebody go, oh, him being, we're nothing but atoms. But you know what? There's something about living things that's different than just dead matter, just atoms, right? Atoms aren't alive. But if you get atoms, okay, so this on your paper, please write it down. Atoms can be, like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, that kind of thing. And then they might make molecules, which would be things like water, carbon dioxide, H2O is a molecule. Now, this is something new happens. Water has characteristics that just the atoms, the hydrogen and oxygen, don't have. Now, when we get molecules arranged in a very complex and special way, you can have life. Okay? So cells are the basic unit of life. Please write that down. So now we're getting into this organic levels of organization, right? This is where life begins. A cell is alive. Every one of your trillions of cells is alive. And they're genetically identical. They're working together in an organized way to make a whole you. And that's what this is about. How does that happen? Okay. So if you have cells, the basic unit of life, now some cells are alive just on their own, like a single-celled organism. Remember, if it's yellow, you don't have to write it down, but cell is the basic unit of life you should have written down. So single-celled organisms, yeah, they're alive. But other things are multi-celled organisms. Whoops. Sorry, didn't mean to have that happen. Multi-celled organisms, like us, we are multicellular organisms. A frog is a multicellular organism. But it doesn't jump straight from cells, and then we're a big blob of cells. There's organization, level after level after level, okay? And so, multicellular organisms. So we got cells, and then the level after cells. Cells working together are called a tissue, okay? Now, tissues are cells working together. Write this down. Test question. What do you call cells working together? The answer is tissues, right? Okay, so it's a new thing happens here. You can have nervous tissue, muscle tissue, connective tissue, epithelial tissue. It's like skin. And each of these tissues, they will have a common function working together, and they are sort of different. Nerve tissue has a different function than muscle tissue does. Okay, so tissues are cells working together. And if you get tissues working together, you can get to the next level of organization, Those are called organs. Now, you've all heard of organs. You know what an organ is, right? The heart is an organ. Your spleen, your liver, a bone, your eyeball, a tooth. These things are all organs. And so human organs, in this case, it has, the thyroid gland. That would be a kind of organ. Well, that's cells working together. Like the heart, for example, it has muscle tissue that helps it pump. It has connective tissue that is the valves that will squirt the blood out in a particular direction. It has nerve tissues, this thing's called a sinoatrial node that controls the heartbeat, that keeps the cells pumping all at the same time to make the muscle tissues. And so a heart is tissues working together. Okay? So we got cells, tissues, organs, and if you get organs working together, you might even know this. Let me see, your heart is part of, if you get the heart and all the veins and arteries and the capillary beds, the entire thing that pumps the blood, that would be called the circulatory system. Or if you get the organs of your stomach, your esophagus, your small intestine, your large intestine, your liver, these would be different things that are part of your digestive system, right? And again, this, unfortunately, you missed this part in 6th grade. Pretty important stuff, and I feel bad about that. But here's a quick lesson about it. You got your cells, tissues, organs, and the organs working together would be organ systems. So write this down. You get organs working together, like the skeletal system would be all the bones, nervous system would be your brain, your spinal cord, all the nerves going out to your hands and stuff. Digestive system would have like your stomach, your esophagus, your liver, small intestine, large intestine, gallbladder, stuff like that. Circulatory systems, the heart, so the different systems working together are organs working together. Excuse me, the organ systems are organs working together. Cells make tissues, tissues make organs, organs make organ systems. And now if you have all the organ systems working together, you have a complete person, an organism. Like you might have a complete frog or a complete eagle or even a tree. Now, a tree has different organs than an animal does, but they have like the bark and the stem and the leaves and different things of that sort. So cells, tissues, organs, organ system, an organism is the individual living thing, right? An ant, a tree, a human, a lion, a blade of grass, a ladybug, a possum, just an individual living organism. And multicellular organisms are made of organ systems working together, and those are made of organs working together, made of tissues working together, and cells. And this is the levels of organization of life, up to the level of the organism, which is what we are. Okay? Now, this is pretty cool stuff. And we're going to build on this in ecology because it turns out individual organisms are part of something even bigger.